Hello, my name is Madison Whiteside, and I am a member of ACI's class of 2025, and this is my sacred space, the Tri-Faith Summit. To begin, our site is located in Waller County, Texas. With our SWOT analysis, I noticed that it gets very hot in Waller County, and there isn't much wind. Along with that, though, the views for the site were very good, especially near the back part because of all the trees. The circulation is a pro and a con because there isn't a lot of traffic there, but also that's a good thing because it's not as loud, but then it's also out in the middle of nowhere. The noise sources from this site mainly come from the wildlife around it and the sounds of the creek nearby. Here are pictures from our site visit where we all went to the site as a class. I was mainly taking pictures of the clearings and getting a good understanding of what our site was supposed to look like. Because of that, I was able to start my first and second iteration. For my first iteration, I wanted to go with an open concept that had a feeling of a oblique style circulation while still being able to enjoy the nature. You cannot see it very well from this photo, but on the walls it's open so that way you can see the views that I was talking about in the SWOT analysis. And then it all comes to a head at the end memorial. For my second iteration, I wanted to have more of a temple feel to it with visitors walking up to the memorial and then they would pass these statues while going into the sacred space with the two private ones on the side. I wanted to keep it very open and not as boxed off because of all of the nature that is around it. I wasn't feeling very inspired by either of these designs, so I went back into my precedent study where me and my group did for our sacred space, Temple Aldea in San Lorenzo. It's basically this triangular temple in the middle of nowhere that has very minimal decor. It just has a bunch of pews and one taller platform where somebody can preach or sit and they can think. It's a very open concept with very simple geometry, but still it had this feeling of tranquility, and I was very inspired by that. I really like the triangular shape, which you can see in my later sketches. For our memorial, we did Dr. Vishnu Gardens Memorial Complex in my studio, India, where it's this centralized hierarchy and another oblique circulation, which I really liked, where you're traveling basically in this circle before going to the middle, so that way you can appreciate what is in the center. From these things, I took the circulation from Temple Aldea because I thought it was very interesting how whenever you were to go into the building and come out, it was broken completely, even from the later point of egress. The concrete that it was attached, it wasn't attached to the building. So you had to take a extra bigger step in order to get out, to show a sort of change that you experienced while you were inside of the building. And then with that circulation and geometry, I wanted to expand on that with my partie models. I really liked the geometry of it and I liked how the spaces changed, so I made a partie of it, and there were a bunch of sketches and a bunch of trial and error before I came to my end partie. For my circulation on the Dr. Vishnu Gardens Memorial Complex, I really liked how, once again, the circulation led to this middle hierarchy. And so I wanted to embody that in my partie with a gradual change in space while still tying back to a heavy centerpiece like in the original. And so both of those ideas combined led me to this triangle shape that gradually transformed into the design that we know as our third and final iteration. From this, we have a really large staple triangle piece and a heavy axis just all the way down in our design. For my memorial, I wanted to base it off of the 8 original students in PV back when it was Alta Vista College, because my concept is about legacy and how through legacy we can go beyond that. Though everything was hard and the history was rough and shouldn't have been done, we can go beyond that and we can still improve and we can prevail, because that is the importance of a legacy. Here we have my final floor plan, which features my public sacred space, my private sacred space, my outdoor spaces, my memorial pillars, my outdoor exhibit, my indoor museum, and my restrooms. For my elevations, I really wanted to show off some of the more geometric parts of my model, including the triangular windows, which create a really strong centerpiece for this model. I also get to show off my outdoor exhibits, which are the slats that you see outside with little shelves in them, where I put some statues in my renders to show off history of the site and of the school itself. My east elevation shows the form of the building. It shows the massive triangle in the middle and then all of the other building blocks that support it. My first section shows more in detail how the rooms are divided up. There's a central hallway and 2 main rooms, being our public sacred space and the lounge. My second section shows off the more geometric windows with a large glass wall in the back, and my private sacred spaces. My rendered shots, we have my money shot, my Tri-Faith Summit money shot, where I made most of the model white, and then I chose a brushed bronze for my accent color. I wanted to keep it very simple because the white was it really struck with the purity and the perfection of the triangles, and so I wanted to keep that same feeling by elevating it with the bronze. For my outdoor exhibit, we have people looking at statues that were possibly donated or showcased at the sacred space because of the deep history behind the memorial and graveyard behind it. This is also shown through my memorial pillars, which are located in the front of the building. I made this triangular piece in the walkway because I wanted people to be able to, it takes a dip of about 4 feet, and so I wanted visitors to go down so that way they were lowered and the pillars were kind of above them, so that way they can see some things are bigger than me, and then they can just take that moment and reflect. My indoor interior, my lounge for where guests can come and they can get coffee, they can get tea in between service or just while visiting to get away from the heat, because once again, Waller County is very hot, especially in the summer. I wanted them to still be able to look outside, but then also just have a place where they can rest. Finally, we have my interior, my sacred space, with the large geometric window. I have some linen curtains in the back with the wood all tying everything together. The wood and the trees play really nicely with each other because the whole room in itself is white plaster, but it still has this elevated look to it while still tying in with natural textures. Thank you very much for listening.